delivered by Sunny Hostin on The View. You know, these are happening so often that I'm not even featuring them all on this segment. But this one was particularly bitter and passive-aggressive.
And shout out, man. Shout out Hellbat and shout out Don's, man. Hellbat, he said, I heard some wah-wah earlier, so here is something different. Chicken nuggets by Codfish. You'll see it on YT towards the top. It's pretty old.
What? Is that the name of the song?
Yes, it is. And then we got Don's, hey, with the $1 super chat. We appreciate you, Don's, man. Don's going to go ahead and get us to the goal. All right, let's keep going, guys. I think we need about... what else we got here?
So I had to share.
I see you. I see you over there.
I have a very quick statement.
Yes, it's not going to be that quick.
Pete Hegseth has denied any wrongdoing. His lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. No charges were ever brought.
You rushed me for that?
They're not a happy bunch, are they? Not much joy there. And remember when the Democrats tried to gaslight America and the world with the lie that they were the party of joy, when we all know they're the party of grievance, hysteria, and screechy sounds.
We won't go back. What are we not going back to? We're not going back to the past where women had no rights. Ever, ever, ever.
To a young man now desperate to play the victim, here is an American climate activist just bagging his country. I've got to say, dude, you know you're free to leave.
I come from a country where we ban books for sport and where we tell children to hide in the corners to avoid the shooters. I come from a place where we bully LGBTQ kids in schools.
Don't worry, Dons. Even though the counter didn't count it, we got it. Don't worry. We're at 9.
And where we are actively taking away women's rights. I come from the United States.
We have a lot to be grateful for after the US presidential election, including being spared the pain of having this young lass shoved down our throats for the next 4 years. Here is almost first daughter, radical leftist activist Ella Emhoff.
Such a big fan of you. Same, girl, same. I can't even believe you know who I am, and are you kidding me? I can't believe you know who I am. Well, you are like a breath of fresh air. Every kid I know is just like, knows your name, is singing your praises. The way that you play with fashion and just are unabashedly yourself is the most exciting thing I've ever seen.
The most exciting thing she's ever seen? Seriously? And if you, like most sane people, have no idea who that woman is, she's Jenna Lyons. Someone told me that. I have no idea who she is, to be honest with you. Let's hear now from American Democrat Party strategist Julie Roginski, who thinks she's going to stop the military from deporting illegal migrants.
Promise you with every fiber of my being, because I'll probably be one of those people, that if anybody comes for these people and tries to drag them out by force, there will be protests of people like me, American citizens, who are going to stand there and do everything possible to prevent.
And in the words of Tom Homan, you can get deported with them. Shoot, well, how about this? Since you are American citizens, so hey, you can relinquish your passport, you can denounce your citizenship, and you can be deported with them. Since you like them so much, you can be deported with them.
These women and children, which is all who these people are.
Remember when they found that cocaine in the White House and somehow they couldn't figure out whose it was, and then the Secret Service destroyed the evidence? Clearly, no obvious suspects came immediately to mind. Now to MSNBC and far left commentator Molly Jong Fast, who was left speechless by news of Hunter Biden's pardon.
Hunter lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. According to NBC News, the president made the decision this weekend. Molly, fast and furious, what do you make of this new news?
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
Hey, shout out Dons. We appreciate the support. He's sending in $1 super chats. We appreciate it, man. And shout out Hellbat 12, $2. Time to read them all. Good luck. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I'll throw it all into one shout out, man. Don's is going crazy right now. He's spazzing.
Have a take, lady. That's your job. You've got one job there, and it's to have a take. Watch now as CNN subjects Democrat Dan Goldman to a humiliation ritual of sorts. This is a thing of beauty. They literally play him footage of himself on ABC lying his lefty butt off about how Joe Biden was never going to pardon his son Hunter. I got to say, I love CNN for this.
This is what you said. I want to watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends.
What does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue a pardon for his son?
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon. That was a satisfactory outcome.
It had already fallen
that
through.
Only was. Sorry?
Well, when you reacted, this was when the deal had fallen through.
Now, we were told again and again, not just by the Biden White House, but also its propaganda arm, the overwhelming majority of the US media, that Joe Biden would never pardon his crack-addled whore enthusiast son. He has too much integrity.
And Dons, we do appreciate the support. Thank you so much, bro. You've helped us reach our goal. Shout out Hellbat12. He says that was lame. Read all of them to sound like a record. Oh, man, y'all are funny as hell. But no, we do appreciate it, Dons. Thank you, Hellbat12, as well. And yes, the call-in line has been unlocked, man. So members, y'all know the vibe. Priority to the members. Shout out the members. Feel free to go ahead and add yourself to the queue. For everybody else, all we ask is you donate $5 to the stream, super chat in 5, and we'll be happy to host your call. We've posted the link in the stream chat. And so go ahead and check that out.
And I'm going to post it in the community tab within about 10 seconds.
All right. It'll also be in the community tabs for reference. Shout out Don's the wild card, $2. I think we hit above the 40 call-in mark. Yes, we did. Appreciate you, Don's. Thanks again. Everybody else who super chatted in as well. You guys have helped us reach our goals. So we appreciate everybody. But yeah, feel free to call in, members. Anybody else, $5 or more, will host your call.
Take ready to do that. He has too much respect for the legal process.
Major commitment from the
And Don's and I would say Don's, Hellbat, and guys, you can go ahead and head over to the community tab, and you can go ahead and get the direct link from the first post in the community tab. I went ahead and replaced the call-in link in the community tab, first post.
president accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
Presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. And I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, what, again, it's all about the contrast.
Joining me now is Newsweek senior editor at large and Article 3 project senior counsel, Josh Hammer. Josh, Joe Biden has not only pardoned his son, this is the most comprehensive, far-reaching pardon I think we've seen. Joe Biden signed a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter, covering all offences against the United States, which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1, 2014 through to December 1, 2024, including but not limited to all offences charged or prosecuted. The scope of this pardon is enormous, Josh.
Rita, the scope is so enormous and indeed is so unprecedented, truly unprecedented. I've actually spent a lot of time trying to think over these past 36 hours or so as to whether or not there is anything remotely resembling a clear precedent for a pardon this sweeping. And honestly, I come up blank. I mean, this is the kind of language that you put into a pardon that I think back to my time in law school here in the United States. I mean, if I were a constitutional law professor, I would literally put a pardon like this on a first-year law student exam to try to question the students as to whether something like this is even permissible, as to whether it's even constitutional in the first place. The short answer is that it is, unfortunately, because the pardon power is truly plenary. But the point is that there's no precedent for that.
I mean, like it or not, it's there, and the president can abuse it to his will, even if he does make a promise saying that he won't.
He almost has full autocracy over the decision.
It is.
And it is standard for presidents to do something like this as they leave office, pardon people. There has been a history of controversial pardons. I think George W. Bush pardoned a deceased man. So it isn't uncommon for presidents to do this, again, as they head out of office. But what's unprecedented is the scope of the pardon, as well as just the pardon inferring that any crimes done, not even crimes that he's been cited with, will also be pardoned. So this is a blank slate pardon that covers stuff that we might not even know about.
So basically, he's took the justice system and said,
"Yes, sir.
We out of here, boy."
For this, I mean, this has
That's
not
my boy.
happened to my knowledge anytime in recent history or in history at all, let alone to actually do so to one's son, to one's literal next of kin. I mean, I'm somewhat flabbergasted, Reed. I really don't necessarily have words for this. And the fact that you're tying it back to January of 2014 in particular, well, you know, what happened in the year 2014? Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, Hunter Biden started sitting on the board of Burisma in the spring of 2014, just a few years after January 2014. No doubt, Rita, for his subject matter expertise on Eastern European Baltic Sea oil and natural gas energy exports. I jest, of course. He has no expertise in this whatsoever. But I mean, you know, Joe Biden says that this was an example of a politicized prosecution. I actually agree with him, but for the exact opposite reason. The special counsel David Weiss deliberately.
All right, man, and shout out, man, because we got Don's here.
Hey, shout out Don's.
I mean, I was like, fuck it. I got a bonus from work yesterday, so I was just like, fuck it, and fucking just full sent it today.
We appreciate it, bro. You showing out crazy, man. Thank you, bro.
It like I get the whole, like, well, first of all, doing YouTube content, like it's all about like your following and everything that you got to do to make money from it. So I get it, but it's absolutely freaking crazy that like we have all this stuff. Also, the sheer amount of freaking times I see Dylan Mulfreaking appear on your channel is insane.
It is kind of wild.
Somehow he finds his way on here. Like, we don't look for Dylan, but Dylan finds his way onto here.
It's like they're always putting a camera and a microphone in front of his face and asking.
Dude, on God. On God.
Like him again? Like, I'm like, him again?
I think it's at least once every stream for like the past week, and I find it absolutely fucking hilarious.
It has to be, bro. And I like said, it's not like we're going out and trying to look for his content, but it just so happens,
man, they're really pushing this. Well, him, her, they, them, they, it,
Dude,
whatever.
I got to do a breakdown of that person. He is literally like, I you know, people are gonna get offended when I call him a grifter, but he's a grifter. He's really not trans. He embodies everything that when men see women or women see women and they think it's a negative trait, that's everything Dylan Mulvaney embodies. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's almost like it's satire fucking humor.
Yeah, all the bad, bro. Good. Yeah, you ever seen like he acts all ditzy and extra girly and annoying?
Dude, yeah, he embodies every bad trait that like women see other women and men see women and fucking hate. And I feel like he does it on purpose. He's a fucking grifter. That's all he is. I don't think he's actually trans.
Well, that's the problem when these men go around playing women, cosplaying, LARPing as women. They have no idea, no reference for what an actual woman is. They're just going off of what they've seen on TV, social media, and in movies. Like, you can't. Being a woman is exactly that. You there's no way to replicate or to simulate the experience. You can't just throw on a dress and a wig and throw on a high-pitched voice and call yourself a woman. Like you just can't do it.
Wait, nah. You mean like speak like this? No, I'm
No,
kidding.
it's just like
Hey, that's a perfect impersonation,
bro,
really.
you can't do it, Don. You just can't do it.
Just be like,
Man,
oh my god.
yeah, that's literally him.
Man.
That's literally him,
Bro, it's like when we all used to have that fake blonde white girl impression.
Yeah, like we playing around, joking between the guys, and we impersonating, Jamie or some shit.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna go out there and literally say, yes, I'm a blonde white girl. Hear my voice. Hear my impersonation.
Oh man, I can do impersonations. Some of them would get me in trouble.
I mean, I already know. But all right, Don. So since you done called in, man, hey, we're gonna go ahead and have you in here. You're gonna go ahead and react with us, man. And
Yeah,
you up
I'm all
that?
for it.
All right,
I'm
perfect.
all for it.
All right, man. Let's go.
Slow walk this case. He did not look into FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. He deliberately let the 5-year statute of limitations toll on that particular statute there. And by the way, he tried to submit a plea deal in the summer of 2023. That was such a sweetheart deal that the federal judge, Mary Ellen Noriega, rejected as just being too favorable to the criminal defendant. As a former federal law clerk, I can tell you, not something that happens every day in court. This whole thing just stinks from top to bottom. The fish rots from the head. The silver lining. Here's the silver lining.
It's like they try to give him the Epstein treatment in court, like a sweetheart deal for an overly heinous crime. You're just like, well, I wouldn't say tax evasion too heinous, but it's good enough to get you a federal crime. So
Well,
he's trying
he
to
did
get a
more than
sweetheart.
just that.
That is true, but
Didn't he?
in that court though, I think were they just talking about his the tax, or was it more stuff?
I mean, they brought up like the China collusion stuff, I think, at one point, but like at the end of the day, they need to. What Biden did wasn't to save his son. What Biden did was to cover his own ass, because the moment Trump gets into office, everyone who politically prosecuted him is to put it into better words, they're just fucked. Like the man literally said, if I get into office, all of y'all who came after me are basically fucking cooked. Like he's like, I'm going to use the full power to find out anything about you.
Yeah, honestly, Key had the same theory. He's like, honestly, pardoning Hunter is like, it's almost like a 2-for-1 deal. It's like I pardoned him, I damn near pardoned myself.
Well, I mean, they can still court order Hunter to come in as a witness and then make him swear under oath. And when it comes to that, like they have the information,
go,
so
like,
they know
testify against his father who just pardoned him. It'd be a pipe dream of ours, but hey.
They have the laptop, man. I mean, if he tries to deny anything that they find on the laptop, technically he's lying under oath. So then they can get him on that.
And that's why the pardon has such a wide range. So it's like anything you did while you were in Ukraine, you're pretty much good. You don't have to answer for it. And crosses my wires. It takes me out of the implications of any crime. Yeah, that's why I say the move was low key 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm saving my son ass, and I'm saving my own ass. If anybody,
I think it was to save his son, honestly, because Biden knows he's going down. And when it comes to it, if the laptop has anything implicating Biden, and if Hunter lies under oath, he's cooked. He's going to jail. And they can use that as leverage to get him to tell the truth and be like, hey, if you start talking, we'll drop the charges. And then Biden's cooked. Like,
if they try to throw Biden in jail, it will be proof that Biden was one of the main reasons that the Dems lost the election, because he was doing sabotage. Because that's the only reason I can ever see them going after Biden.
They took money from China. Everyone knows they did.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But hey, but for some reason, whatever Biden does gets swept under a rug.
Dude, don't even get me started on fucking Kamala. She's going to jail for the shit she did in Cali.
Man, we'll see.
We could only hope.
Yeah, but let's keep the video going, man. Appreciate y'all guys.
On a positive note, the silver lining here is that when Donald Trump comes into power in January 2025, any morsel of credibility that the left had when they complained about Donald Trump's purported abuses of the justice system, it's over. They have no credibility whatsoever. You and I both know they had no credibility with the Jack Smith lawfare to begin with here. But this is the final nail in the coffin. This is really it at this point. They have revealed themselves for the tyrants that they are.
Well, I'm not even a little bit shocked by any of this. I'm a little bit shocked by the scope of the pardon, because that is just astonishing, as you've just explained. But let's not forget, Donald Trump was impeached for wanting to investigate what actually happened with Ukraine and Hunter Biden and Burisma, just for wanting to have a look at things that are now beyond the justice system, where Hunter Biden has just got this get out of jail free card. And I do wonder whether that get out of jail free card, Josh, is really for Joe Biden himself and other members of the family, because at the end of the day, Joe Biden was the product. This entire pay for access scheme they were running, Joe was at the center of it. Without him, there would be no money coming in.
Yeah, I think
Joe appointed his son. Joe had the relationships. Joe, during the Obama administration, had some time spent over in Ukraine. He had the connections. He had the know-how. He had the motive. So Joe has just as much implication in any guilt that his son would have. If his son was over there doing dirt, it stands to reason his dad not only knew about it, but put him in position to do said dirt.
Yeah, aka the big guy.
So come on, like I say, it is a two-sided move, and you know, Don's, I'm curious to see what you have to say about this. But it not only, like I said, saves his son ass, but it saves his ass for any impeding charges that might head his way.
When it comes down to it, I mean, everyone knows, and this is the best comparison I can say. You know, people talk about the whole January 6th event, and people talk about, oh, well, it's not the same implications. Trump told them to come down and fight for their freedom, and that was inspiring them. And I mean, I know where Biden can get got, since they wanted to try to go after the whole January 6th thing. He literally came out and said to put Trump in their crosshairs. And then, like, pretty soon after, Trump almost got his head blown off. So it ain't looking good for Biden. But I mean, that could be argued as, the whole, well, you technically incited, and you incited the people to attempt to kill me. And that he can go after the media for that too. So there's a lot of people you're gonna see a lot of people go down. And Biden may not go down, but there's a lot of people that are gonna go down. And I don't think he's gonna pull punches with Kamala. I think he's going after her.
Honestly, I don't think Biden goes down, quote unquote, myself. I don't think we'll see that. But if it does come out that, again, he's implicated, his name is mentioned, or his name is affiliated with Biden in any of or his name is affiliated with his son in any of these crimes, it will just show like the corruption and how it just goes all the way to the top. And again, it just will kind of push the narrative of, oh, we can't trust our governance. We can't trust our politicians. They do shady shit.
I mean, Trump can pardon himself when he becomes president, and then all that stuff they tried doing in New York and all that other stuff. I mean, if I was Trump, with how much they went after him, man, I wouldn't pardon yourself from the get-go. I would wait till the end of your presidency, like towards the last couple months, and I'd pardon yourself. And then when it comes down to it, and they try to get him after he gets out, he's already pardoned of all those crimes.
Yeah, honestly, they're thinking about dropping him and then trying to retrial him on them.
Yeah,
but I know, right? But isn't that is crazy? They're gonna try it. They're gonna try to do something, because didn't they extend the what was it? It was like a certain length of time you have to charge a crime.
The only time you could do that is if they drop their charges federally and they pick them up in a state.
Yep. He's gonna. But then they won't be able to count as felonies, because felonies are considered crimes that are punishable federally. So he could get rid of all his felony counts easily. Like, just wait till the end of his presidency.
Well,
I pardon myself
because of his name anyway. If you look at the charges when they were assessed to anybody else who committed the exact same crimes, they were low-level misdemeanors, bro. So they politicized it, they sensationalized it just because of Trump's last name alone.
But
he'll pardon himself. I think he will.
I'm hoping it doesn't even get to that point. I'm hoping they just drop the goddamn charges. Isn't that also a viable option? Just like, hey, look, the jig is up. We seen what you guys were doing. Don't force my hand. I'll do it if I have to, but just concede. Drop the damn charges and let's move on with it.
Yeah, but there's a way to drop charges, but not like concede that he's innocent to where you can do a retrial. All they have to do
But
is
no
drop
contest.
charges. Yeah, because if they drop charges on concessions of a mistrial, then when he gets out of presidency, they'll be able to go back and get him again. So
Fair enough.
it's weird
You're
water.
saying, yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. You're saying to put it behind him for good. He's best served pardoning himself.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's keep it going.
You nailed it. This pardon is only partially for Hunter Biden. It really is a pardon for the entire Biden family in general. Look, there have been many on the right side of the American political aisle, myself included, who have been calling for the Biden DOJ, or excuse me, for the Trump DOJ, that is, to reopen a new special counsel probe into Hunter Biden come day one, to look back into possible violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act and various other overseas foreign dealings. Now, with this pardon in place here, assuming that it is upheld in court, which again, I believe it will be, for better or for worse, but with this pardon in place, you can't do that. And that ultimately is what Joe Biden is trying to do here. I think he's basically taking an action, Rita, to try to make a play for the presidential historians who will write books about his presidency 15, 20, 30 years now. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to preclude his own name and his brother's name, Jim Biden, and I guess Hunter's name, from being revealed in a subsequent deposition or a judicial hearing or a House Republican subpoena investigation. He's trying to obviate all of that with the sweeping nature of this pardon. Little does he know, though, that in doing such a corrupt, a venal, a grossly self-serving, hypocritical thing, after months and months of just lying, just not even gaslighting, just straight up lying to the American people over and over and over again, little does he know that he actually has sealed his fate with the presidential historians here in the U.S. That fate, though, is not what he hopes it will be.
I do wonder, Josh, whether he's going to be cute now and try to...
You know, if Biden was so concerned about his legacy, he probably should have dropped out for this election. If he was just so concerned about his, legacy. Because I'm going to be real with you, his own party sabotaged his legacy by allowing him to keep pushing. Like, that destroyed his legacy alone. This just further, it's like almost like you stomped your foot in the trash can, and now it's at the bottom of the trash can. Like, what you think, Don's? Like, you even think his legacy is redeemable at this point?
I don't think he had much of a legacy to begin with. Just,
Fair
I mean, he, at the end of the day, the thing with the medical files that they covered up with Biden, that's going to come to light. They're going to know he was his doctor. On paper, he was technically not fit to be president. So they're going to find that out. And I mean, they're going to find out everything else. I mean, everyone, definitely the political corruption, using the judicial system to go after a political opponent, that's grounds of treason. That's a serious felony crime. So everyone who's involved in that is I'm talking supermax prison. Some of them maybe, because that's a serious crime.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, let's keep this one going. Appreciate you guys.
Pardon Donald Trump and his ridiculous convictions, the trumped-up charges we saw in New York, which are ultimately going to be reversed on appeal. But do you think he will do something like that? He'll pull something like that in the final weeks?
I can see it happening. I mean, but they've tried this trick before, Rita. I mean, they did this when they indicted Bob Menendez, the very corrupt senator from New Jersey, the Democrat who was taking Egyptian literal bars of gold were found in his closet there. They did a similar thing when they indicted Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City there, who apparently was taking some sum of money from the country of Turkey. He was flying Turkish Airlines there. So they're actually very good at this. They're very good.
Whoa. Eric Adams? Hold on. Wait. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. Eric Adams, I mean, I don't know, bro. I just don't trust this guy. I never did trust this guy. Ever since his strong stance on having a pro-prisoner policies, I'm like, bro, people is suffering. You're worried about the people incarcerated is crazy. But It is what it is.
From the country of Turkey. He was flying Turkish Airlines there. So they're actually very good at this. They're very good at basically dangling out these cheap objects and hoping to obfuscate and to bamboozle the right here in America, trying to convince you that, oh, everything's above board. You see, we're prosecuting both sides, or hey, we're letting both sides off the hook. They're very good at that. They've tried this tactic before. But at this point, Rita, I think the onus is on us on the right, those of us who are conservatives, constitutionals, pro-America patriots, to see this for what it is, which is an unprecedented act of self-serving venality in American history.
Now, Trump has announced his pick for the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration as a Hillsborough County Sheriff, Chad Chronister. This man's record is very different to that of, say, Kash Patel, his pick for FBI director, a pick that his voters were absolutely thrilled about. This pick, Chronister, is, well, he's infamous for the relatively soft approach he took to the 2020 BLM riots. He's been, though, tough on imposing COVID curfews and even arresting a church pastor for holding services. Josh, explain this selection to me. Is this...
Yeah, explain that selection, because it doesn't sound like anything Trump's base would be okay with. Like, I'm not okay with it.
Donald Trump's first mistake since winning the election?
Rita, let me first say that not who I would pick to lead the DEA. I mean, let me just put my cards on the table there. Not who I would pick, not who I would advise Donald Trump to pick. I say this, by the way, as someone who takes the DEA's task very seriously. My cousin, may his memory be a blessing, overdosed and died 7 years ago now from fentanyl-laced cocaine, no doubt trafficked across the U.S.-Mexico border. So I take the drug issue here in the United States very seriously. So again, not the man that I would have recommended to Donald Trump and his team to pick if I had my word and my druthers. But I think that Donald Trump is entitled to a very large degree of deference when it comes to people like this who will comprise not just his cabinet, but the DEA is actually then a sub-cabinet second-tier official. The DEA technically sits below the Department of Justice. The DEA chief is basically subservient to the Attorney General of the United States. And from what I understand, this pick basically came from Pam Bondi, who is Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. Pam Bondi and Chad Chronister are both...
All right, so if anything, we need to go have a conversation with Pam Bondi. Like, all right. So we won the Matt Gaetz, but we got you, and now you're choosing to pick that the Trump base would not align with. To be honest with you,
I mean,
well, what can I say? I already knew I wasn't gonna like everything the man. Yeah,
I was gonna say, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
Okay, I feel like she might be picking him because when he needs to set his foot down, they seem to be close, so she can tell him to set his foot down. But I also feel like sometimes when handling cases in the DA and dealing with drugs and related, sometimes it goes a little too far. So I feel like maybe she's appealing to the slightly softer side of him when it comes to like drugs that don't really hurt people. Like, let's just say you're selling marijuana illegally. Like, if you're selling enough of it, the DEA comes after you. Now, maybe he'll be softer on those people because he's a better person. But when it comes to the hard shit, I feel like if she tells him to set his foot down on the hard shit, he's going to do it. And I feel like that's what she's going for. She doesn't want someone who's going to appear like the villain beneath her. She kind of like the whole good cop, bad cop routine. At least that's what it kind of looks like to me.
Okay, I can get down with that idea. Because the way I'm seeing it, the way I was seeing it was like, oh, all right, well, she's making her own picks. This is supposed to be Trump's right-hand woman at this point, besides J.D. Vance. So I guess we can trust her to make this pick, even though we may not agree with it. And you're right, though. Trump does have the strong stance on, well, some of these guys need the death penalty. And I do think that the dudes that are selling fentanyl, yeah, y'all need the death penalty. The marijuana guy, you selling truckloads of marijuana, yes, y'all ain't gonna lie, you do need some jail time. But you don't need no life sentence, and you don't need the death penalty, especially for something that, no matter how much you intake of it, you can't die from it. Now, heroin, cocaine, and all those other drugs you can die from, yeah, lengthy sentences for all those. But fentanyl, I mean, yeah, that deserves the death penalty in my eyes because it's literally poisoning. Drugs are already a poison. The fact that you're adding like the king of all poisons to this is it's crazy. And I ain't gonna lie, honestly, just speaks to what's going on out here.
I have a theory on the fentanyl crisis that you'd probably find interesting.
All right, go ahead and tell me.
Well, everyone knows where the fentanyl comes from.
Yep. China, right?
Hunter took money from who?
China. And
Why? And Biden didn't enforce what? The border, which allowed fentanyl to come into the country, which the fentanyl comes from China. They took money from China, meaning what I'm thinking is actually going on is Biden took money from China to look the other way at the fentanyl coming in through the border. And in the process, that whole illegal immigration issue that we have now, it caused that also. And that's why Biden has refused to fix it, because he's making money from China because he's letting the fentanyl in.
That makes sense because remember, Steven Crowder did do a whole documentary on China actually having immigrants come over here illegally and being able to get citizenship and being able to own land to start weed farms and other operations. So yeah, I believe it. Like, hey, Steven Crowder, he exposed it pretty well. Like, we know these people are coming over here starting these farms. Now, everything with the fentanyl, we have to throw under the line of allegedly, but the weed farms are confirmed.
Yeah, the fentanyl allegedly, the weed farms true, and we do know it is confirmed that the fentanyl is coming from China. Now, is it being brought? We know it's being brought in from Mexico. We don't know if anyone else is bringing in it. So
I believe the cartel. That just sounds like cartel work.
Yeah, true. Cartel.
That's why
working with
Homan's trying to
China.
make them a terrorist group, because honestly, they kind of should be. They have pull like one.
They do.
So it is a bit crazy. It's like, all right, cool. They sell drugs. I mean, like, but like, that makes them even a bigger terrorist group. It's like they're the terrorist group we let get rich.
For real.
Well, and pretty much take over Mexico, but nobody want to talk about that one for some reason. It's like we literally have a terrorist organization operating under us, and we say nothing about it until now. Until now, it is a scary thought. But all right, though, let's keep it going. Go here and
they're both Floridians. They're both here in Florida, where I live there. I think soon-to-be Attorney General Bondi is very close with the sheriff in Hillsborough County there. So she's probably entitled to her DEA chief of choice. Again, not who I would necessarily pick there, but it is worth noting that Hillsborough County, where Chronister is sheriff, is a purple to light blue county. So if he's trying to get reelected as sheriff, he probably can't run a very, very hard right jurisdiction there. He has been very tough on pro-Hamas protests. He's taken a stronger stance on illegal immigration in general there. So there are definitely some things I think to look very fondly at. But again, having said that, wouldn't necessarily be my first choice, but I'm okay with the pick if that's who Pam Bondi wants.
Talking about Hamas and being tough on terrorists.
So pretty much she's riding behind it because Pam Bondi's on it. So we just pretty much got to have trust in Trump's third in command. All right. Well, guys, I know we may not like this, but damn it, man. We got to have trust in this woman. Okay. Now, I know putting your trust in a woman a bit. I know wild, but we got to put trust in this girl.
Donald Trump has today issued a stark warning to the terrorists holding hostages. I'm going to read from this part of the post that he shared on Truth. He said, "Please let this truth serve to represent that if the hostages are not released prior to January 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East, and for those in charge who have perpetrated these atrocities against humanity, those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Release the hostages now."
And this is what people on the pro-Palestinian side feared. This man coming in, and I'm be real with you, I feared it too, but it is what it is. I mean, like him coming in and going like, yep, all is done. Yo, Hamas, release these hostages or I will make sure there is no Gaza. I could see Trump following through with that. I can make sure there is no Iran. I can make sure that y'all can't even fight them back. So at this point,
I was gonna say, I've said this before, but our hands are tied with the Israel situation.
Exactly. It's like it's whatever Trump wanted to be at this point.
Well, it's not even just Trump. It's, you know, and I tell this to people, and people don't realize this. The Jewish community owns 40% of the United States economy. Okay. What the fuck are we supposed to do? They can put us in an
Exactly.
actual depression, worse than the Great Depression.
Yeah, exactly. So even though like I agree with the pro-Palestinian plight, like I agree with it. Trust me, I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, like this is Donald Trump. And
I mean,
I'll
they
be real
owned
with you. Israel
BlackRock,
has a
man.
huge influence in American politics. 9
They
times out of
owned
10, you
BlackRock.
gotta bend the knee to Israel to be president. That's why people like Thomas Massey will never get a chance to be president. Maybe.
And they owned BlackRock. Just want to point that out. The owner of
And they own the
BlackRock is
Federal
Jewish.
Reserve.
And they own the Federal Reserve. And they basically own Wall Street and Hollywood. You wonder why the United States is like, maybe we shouldn't touch these people. And just if they need help, we should help them blindly. Because, you know, the benefit of the
Yep.
masses versus the few.
And,
I
and some of
mean,
the and some of them are the top players in our economy. Like,
yeah.
It's a tough little bind we're in, but hey, it is what it is. It could be
In that
worse.
respect, they managed to Trojan horse an entire country. But like,
I mean, sweet Jesus. But it is what it is. There's only so many ways to fix that problem. But that's a problem we can discuss in the Discord.
Yeah.
In capitals, Josh, we haven't seen this sort of strength or clarity from the Biden administration. Certainly, this is pure Trump. This is Trump's peace through strength strategy.
Look, I mean, it's an amazing statement. I mean, it's truly an amazing statement. You know, one of the funny things about Donald Trump is that he barely even has to act. I mean, as soon as he was elected by the American people, basically the entire Middle East map already started to change effectively overnight. Hezbollah started begging for a ceasefire. Hamas started begging for a ceasefire. Iran said that it was going to tone down its assault across the entire region there. I mean, basically just the mere presence of this man, the guy who achieved historical peace in the Middle East his first time around, the guy who took out Qasem Soleimani at the Baghdad, Iraq airport in January 2020 there. I mean, the mere fact that he is there, let alone putting out amazing statements like this, has already changed the entire dynamic of the region there. Look, the point is, people think that Donald Trump is like a warmonger, that he's looking to start wars. The Middle East was the quietest it has been in decades during his presidency because, again, our enemies here in America know not to mess with us when Donald Trump is in office. The one thing I will say is that if you're going to talk like this, as Donald Trump has done in Truth Social, you better be prepared to back it up with action. Having said that, though, I think Donald Trump is very clearly willing to do that, as he's demonstrated before there. So our enemies are now on standby. They are watching this with very close eyes there, and that is a very good thing, I say.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I remember when he was, I think it was the fourth or fifth presidential candidate who said he was going to move the embassy. He was going to move the American embassy, and he was going to acknowledge Israel's capital. And there was a promise that was made previously, Josh. I think Clinton made it, Obama made it, Bush made it. None of them followed through. They were all too terrified. Donald Trump followed through despite the hyperbole and the hysteria that we got from the media and experts telling us it was going to lead to bloodshed and relations were going to sour. And what happened? Nothing really happened. They dealt with it because he followed through with a pledge. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I want to ask you about Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. He's met with Trump, and there are rumors that he wants to cozy up to the administration. He wants to be brought into the fold and be involved in the national reform and renewal. But should this character be trusted, Josh?
Nah, it kind of just seems like he bends the knee to whoever's in power, so I wouldn't trust him.
Who's that?
Meta, Instagram,
I respect Mark Zuckerberg more, and I know it sounds crazy, but if he'd just stuck on his position, it's like, dog, you done switched up the whole election for these people. Now you're trying to bend the knee to the next winner. I'm like, is you, bro? You should either just kept your opinion. I'd just say this: come out as an independent, or just stay on that side for at least a year.
I mean, people call it the Zuck for a reason.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Don. My bad. I forgot you were on the
I
call.
was gonna say, I was gonna say people make the joke and they call it the Zuck when they refer to, particular pleasurable favors. Well, I mean, he's very good at giving the Zuck to everyone who's in power. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You kind of beat me to the punch on that one. I was gonna challenge Set and say it isn't a move made out of not really having a particular stance or just being willy nilly. It's a move made out of have mercy on me. I know what I did, but don't send the attack dogs on me. Like, let me get on your good side.
Oh man.
Have been notorious for
argument.
suppressing, censoring conservatives that continue to do so. And he donated hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money to help fortify the 2020 election. Is he a character who has proven himself, who's shown that he has changed his mind about politics like Elon Musk has and RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and some others?
I would not trust Mark Zuckerberg personally at all. I mean, to put it mildly there, but he's on this current long extended mea culpa apology tour. It's very odd, actually. I mean, this started really over the summer. He put out some statements acknowledging that Facebook was complicit in censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story from the New York Post back in 2020. And he said that he apologized for that. So he's been on this extended apology tour for a while now. I can't quite figure out exactly why he is doing this, though, to be honest with you. I find it very...
Yeah, chat. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong or if y'all agree with me. This is kind of one of them things where he's trying to get ahead of a bullet that's incoming, that he sees coming down the pipeline. Like, let me position myself to where I'm friendly with the current administration. That way they look favorably upon me. They don't judge me for any of the things that I might have been forced to do in the past. Let me make buddies with the people I need to make buddies with.
Didn't Trump threaten to go after him?
Not necessarily, but you got to consider his relationship with Trump when it came to censoring the story about the laptop and how that put Trump in a bad light. Just some of the things that have happened amongst along the timeline.
Honestly, I think the real argument here, my bad to interrupt, but I think the real argument is, can Trump go after Zuckerberg? Is there does Zuckerberg feared about being came after? And honestly, who could Trump send against Zuckerberg?
Now, I want to hear what you got to say, Dons, but to that point, I don't think it's necessarily a personal rivalry. I just think it's something that Zuckerberg is trying to get ahead of, just in case somebody, wants to come at me for some things that...
Oh, covering his ass.
Yeah, exactly. Let me cross my T's and dot my I's here.
Better said.
Go ahead, Dons, please.
I mean, I think with the Zuckerberg situation, I mean, Trump did literally say that if I find out you were involved with any election interference in the past, that I'm coming for you. He told that to Zuckerberg. So I have a feeling that Zuckerberg was involved in some election interference, and now he's scared because Trump got elected.
Some of the storylines that came out about the laptop, think about it. The laptop has pretty much just been confirmed in the last year or so. 2021, that was something that they were trying to deny the existence of.
Dude, that's like the whole stole the election thing, right? Like, where's 20 million votes?
Exactly. No, yeah. I mean, bro, great point. We're pretty much agreeing on the same thing. I don't really think that he's necessarily a Trump fan. I don't think that they're rivals either. I just think that he's trying to put himself in... He's trying to position himself well so that, nothing necessarily, he doesn't catch any strays.
It's kind of funny though, but Mark Zuckerberg kind of knew who's going to win the election before we all did in a way, because he was already making his concessions to Trump. He was already coming out going like, yeah, let me go ahead and just start saying it now, because I don't need to take the guess.
I mean, with Kamala putting Cardi B on stage, the female Bill Cosby. Yeah, I would start thinking Trump was going to win.
Bill Cosby, though.
Don't get me started.
Shout out Oprah.
Don't get me started.
Oh, shoot.
to believe that his actual politics and principles and ideology have changed. Rather, it's probably just a self-serving measure when it comes to just trying to keep his company relevant. He probably sees his fellow Silicon Valley titan, Elon Musk, who is now in Mar-a-Lago. He's taking photos with Don Jr. and Eric Trump. He's basically, I mean, Elon Musk is basically an adopted son of the Trump family at this point. And there's probably a little bit of just envy or jealousy, frankly, from Mark Zuckerberg, you know, from one billionaire to another there. If I had to put on my psychological lens, that's probably what I imagine what is going on here. But look, I mean, you know, from one Jew to another, from me to Mark Zuckerberg actually had his bar mitzvah in the synagogue in my hometown back in New York there. So I would encourage him to spend a little more time doing what we call teshuvah, which is atonement in Judaism, prior to trying to get in Donald Trump's good graces. I think a little more atonement might be in order for your previous mistakes, frankly.
I tell you, I'm with you. I would not trust him as far as I can throw him. And if he actually really has genuinely changed his point of view and woken up to some of the awful activism that he's been.
Or he's a psychophant, a chameleon, somebody who will say whatever to get him viewed favorably, depending on which room or which set of people he sits amongst, which I could also see that being him. I mean, think about it. You kind of got to know how to bump elbows and intermingle with some of these higher brow folks. So it could be a move just made out of, you know, him just wanting to appeal to.
But when you're Zuckerberg, it's like, who do you need to appeal to? Boy, I own Instagram, I own Facebook. Boy, if anything, you capitulate to me, boy, I control your image.
I mean, Elon apparently hates Zuckerberg, so I feel like that might be another reason why he's trying to cozy up to Trump. So,
who's got more bees, Elon or Zuck?
Good point.
And, you know, also, you know, who's directly in line and working alongside Trump, so who can whisper in his ear and be like, hey, get this guy.
I don't like that guy. Get him. Yeah. No, good point.
And now X is the #1 platform in the world.
That's funny. That's funny. No, for real. Just take out his rival, and now shit. The only place to go for news and entertainment is Elon's site.
Man, make sure to follow us on that.
He needs to buy MSNBC.
Is that just rumbling? Is that just murmurs, or is that something that's serious? Because I seen him hinted on X, but he didn't really say anything concretely.
I mean, he never did when he bought Twitter. He was like, how much does it cost? And then all of a sudden he owned Twitter. So I mean,
yeah, bro, that's the problem with Elon, is like he can tease something like that, but you don't know if he's serious, but he can definitely whip out his black card and buy that whole fucking thing. Like, that's the funny part about Elon, is like, is he joking, or will he own that bitch by next week?
We're talking about the same person who up for 44 billion.
Like,
Just said, all right,
bro. Like,
I'm like, whoa,
is he just talking, or will he really own MSNBC by the end of the year?
He hasn't said it since the Twitter thing. Like, and no other company has he said it about since the Twitter thing. And then somebody was like, hey, Elon, you should buy MSNBC. And he responded, how much does it cost? So I have a feeling that maybe he's serious, because the only other time he did it, he went through with it.
And I believe it's Comcast, or like, I think they're trying to get rid of that.
Yeah. It's on fire sale, really.
Yeah, because they're like, bro, they can't sell it for what they actually they think is valued for, what they paid for it.
Well, they said it's the association with NBC that has the stock dropping on it, so they're trying to disassociate with they're trying to disassociate MSNBC from NBC, I'm sorry. And that's the reason why they're trying to sell it off.
If Elon purchased it, man, I'm turning in my application.
But Don, tell me if you've seen this. Did you see where Elon said that they would highlight if he does buy I can't say it. I don't know why.
MSNBC.
God damn it. If he does end up buying MSNBC, he said that he would highlight users' post on X. So he pretty much have a segment with viral posts from X.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be so fucking cool, bro. I swear.
Instead of using an X post to slander somebody.
Like, bro, that'd be so fucking cool, man.
I'm hoping Trump saves Google.